Today, I want to take you along in the three times in the past years when I was suicidal, had suicidal thoughts. I basically want to take you along in what happened to me, what the factors were, and what made me realize a lot of things. At the end, I also will explain what I'm doing here in Malta and what I learned from all of these experiences. So we go back to 2016, basically 2017. Um, I was about to go to Oslo, and before that, I was with a girlfriend. She ended up in a hospital. She took the pill, and then she was one out of 3 million people to. So basically, have a blood clot in her brain that caused her to have a lot of epileptic attacks. And the aftermath, she made it, but the aftermath was for me to take care of someone for half a year. After this happened, it was basically the last half a year for me in Leeuwarden, or at least I thought so by then. I was going on exchange to Oslo. I had that planned in the beginning of 2017. And before this, my friends, we basically told each other like we need to make the best out of this last 6 months that we have together. So we smoked weed a lot, we went out partying a lot. So the combination of weed and alcohol, basically, a few times during the week, that was a lot. And I was by then also still busy. I was a chairperson of the student council. I was working, I was busy with university, so I was really busy and I was basically just doing all of these things so that I didn't have to take care of myself. Because at the end of the day, if you're also taking care of someone else, you're most likely gonna forget about yourself, and later on, there's gonna be a moment when you still need to take care of yourself. So I went to Oslo, and this was a total change. At first, I thought I was going to be busy as well, but that wasn't really the case. I had around 6 hours of school a week. Then I noticed everything in Oslo is pretty expensive, so I couldn't do so much. And I totally underestimated the fact that I did not get enough sunlight. It was January, February, March when I was mostly there. And there is not a lot of sun in Oslo, I can tell you that. So all of these things together really brought me in a bad place. There were some weeks when I was just eating 2 slices of bread a day. This also didn't help much. I barely got out of my room because I was just feeling super shitty. And as I noticed by that time, the thoughts creeped onto me more and more in that I just wanted to end my life. Overall, made me to seek help a little bit from a good friend of mine who I still hold pretty dear. He's always there for me. And I called a lot with him, and that made me at least be able to move forward. I started to eat better again. I started to get out in the sun more, as it was also getting to be spring in Oslo. And in the beginning of April, when I noticed I didn't need to be in Oslo anymore, I just moved back to the Netherlands at that moment. I was still under the impression that I would go to Berlin for my internship, but sadly I did not. So instead of taking care of myself once I got back in the Netherlands, after 4 or 5 months in Oslo, I left back to Leeuwarden and basically went back to my old ways. Started to smoke weed again. That helped, at least I thought that helped. And I was able to sort of numb that whole feeling inside of me. I had my friends around me, which of course also gives you, some escapism. You could do other things and you don't have to be busy with yourself. So that was basically my first phase of, really noticing that I had suicidal thoughts and that I wasn't doing well. But being back in the Netherlands, I was able to focus on university again. I was able to just continue on. Then we go a year ahead. As I said, I had quite some troubles with girlfriends, sadly. Not their fault, also. I should around that time just have taken more responsibility. And well, the year after, I was together with someone. She was moving to Malaysia. I was, well, still in Leeuwarden, and I was about to go to Berlin. And sadly, I again got in the situation where I did not have myself under control. She lashed out to me in certain ways. If you want to know what, I will link a video here. And we weren't, the communication between us wasn't well. I was really confused, and all of a sudden, again, I was in a situation where all my friends were gone because they were about to leave on either exchange or they already left. So I was again a lot alone. Then I moved to Berlin, and then I made a mistake. Um, I remember that my ex, she came back to Europe. I sort of asked her a few times if she would come to Berlin so we could talk and we could see how things would be between each other. And looking back at it, this was a mistake from my side. Because, yes, the 3 days that she was in Berlin, they were nice, but it also sparked something in me that I did not take care of, and it got me really, really confused. She left, and it sort of felt as if we ended it again in how I was a few months before that. I was doing better. It was such a throwback in how I felt, and then I started to notice more and more. Mind me, in Berlin in the start, I had a lot of old friends that I already knew from my university time. Although this is nice because you can hang out with friends and etc., it's, for me, it was really frustrating because I was continuing on old paths that I already knew, and that didn't help me forward to deal with myself. By that time, I was going to work with the U-Bahn, and I remember one time I was just sitting at the U-Bahn, and it just continued on in my head what I would do if I would just, why wouldn't I just throw myself in front of the U-Bahn? Why wouldn't I just do that? And the heavier that thought got, at one point I was just done with that thought. And I started to seek help in terms of therapy. Also at work, it didn't really help, of course. Got a lot of panic attacks. I started to work instead of 5 days, 4 days, so that I could also go to therapy and take care of myself. And this was really good because I started therapy. I also abruptly ended basically my most of my connections with my old friends. Not that I was mad at them or anything, but I thought it would, for me, it would be better to go on a new path, find new friends, find a new environment for me to feel better. And first, this really helped. I started to do my therapy. I was a lot busy with going to the gym. I was pretty healthy, and then I started to go alone to Berghain, which was really nice. I really, yes, I took drugs there, but on the other end, I also forced myself, if I would be anxious, I would just force myself on the dance floor. And if it would take me an hour or 2 hours to get rid of that feeling by just dancing alone and just getting rid of that feeling, I would do that. That helped me a lot, and that helped me up until this day a great deal, in that I know if I feel a certain way, if I take the right measures, I can always get rid of that. But there was, after I finished therapy, there was also a period in where I thought that everything was okay, and I still didn't understand the mental health situation to the fullest yet. If we go to 2022, already in 2021, 2022, at the beginning of the year, I decided to not go out anymore. I really wanted to sober up, and I was partying a lot. I was noticing that my anxiety was coming back a lot, and I knew that I had to do some things different. I just couldn't continue like that. This meant me sobering up after Berlin, and also before that, basically from weed. After this, I figured where to go. So I went 2 months back to the Netherlands. That was really nice. That was really nice because it was calm, it was empty, not a lot of people, not a lot of external factors that could influence me. And this was really nice. But I did not know where to go. I was thinking about just getting a place for myself in the Netherlands. everything was way too expensive to find a place for myself. So then I decided after 2 months to go back to Berlin. Of course, I can also not just stay at my mom. Like I'm 33 years old now. At one point, nah. Once I moved back to Berlin, it was a whole different experience for me because I was sober. And when I was still smoking weed, I did not notice how busy it was. I did not notice the energies that you get from such a big city. So I had a studio for myself, and in Berlin it can be hot, and then I have the windows open. Sad thing is that you hear sounds the whole time. So yeah, I got kind of crazy. I didn't want to go out too much because it was way too busy for me. If I would go to Alexanderplatz, hey, I could do that, but then it will take me a few hours to sleep because it was too busy. So it was time for me to find different ways, and I decided, hey, I really need to leave Berlin. This was quite some energy that it took for me to move away. And in that period, I was a lot alone. Again, I was sort of a monk. I couldn't really meet with my old friends because that would mean in the weekend going out, and I wasn't really planning on doing so up until I got myself under control. And towards, I would say, this year, and you can also see that I stopped making videos. Around that time, I was again in the fucking position in where I was like, what am I going to do? I was lost. I did not know what to do with my life. I did not have goals. Did not know how to get myself under control. And being in a city like Berlin, it was way too busy for me. So I had to make changes. But I remember when I was walking outside, getting moving boxes, and so on, that it just struck me like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I still trying to push myself forward? Why not just end it? And at that moment, it was good sort of that I had that moment because it was just clear for me, okay, it's done. Momentarily being in Berlin, it's done. I need to get out of here. I need to get my mess in order, and I need to find a place in where I can get myself under control. So I first went back again to the Netherlands for a bit to really calm down because I was just scared of myself. I knew that I would be more calm and more peaceful in the Netherlands, and so I did. Then I looked for a place to go, and that brings us here in Malta. For me, it was the most important thing to go to a place in where I could have sun, because that helps a great deal. I felt so locked up, not being able to really go out because I didn't want to. And in winter, it's a gray mess, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So I came to Malta. It's nice weather here. Today is a bit cold, but the last few days I could still walk around in my t-shirt outside. There's sun here. I am able to go to the sea, which is like a few minutes away, and that really helps. But what is it mostly that I have learned from all of these periods? I would really say, and that's why I also got this tattoo. For me, it's all about balance. And balance, I mean the fact that I know that I have this, and if I don't take care of myself, I know that it will be back. I am 33 years old now, that I had these periods. I had this before as well, and I know that I have to take care of myself. And taking care of myself means that I have both these sides under control. So for me, that means structure as well. So going to the gym 6 times a week, eating well, really important, sleeping well, really important. So it's not only that I take into account that feelings back of maybe, hey, do I still want to be here? I also have I have to take the other side into account, because if I'm only happy, then something comes into play that I'm currently really training myself on, and that is the dopamine release, making you happy. If I have a day when I'm only happy and I'm getting all kinds of things towards me, I'm not gonna sleep well that night. And that comes back to me in where I have trouble the next day with myself. So it's about having both sides in order. You could say the black wolf, I need to take care of that, and I also need to take care of the white wolf. Dopamine control is currently really my biggest focus, I would say. That goes from drinking coffee, that goes to sex, that goes to everything basically that I do. I take into account, okay, how do I feel? I need to make sure that I sleep well, so I don't want to trigger my dopamine, let's say an hour or 2 hours before I go sleep, because then it's going to take me a few hours more to get to sleep. And this is just something that I'm really training myself on. I'm going to come back to this because I want to take you all along. Also, for this video, the most important thing for me is like, yes, I know how to deal with myself. I've had these situations where I wouldn't want to be here anymore, but I'm proud of myself to say that I've always went further than to give in to those thoughts and those feelings. And besides that, I'm just really focused on my goals. I have goals for myself. I've set goals for myself for this year. Instead of just putting that out there to you as a viewer, I'm not doing that. Because for me, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna make so many videos a day, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, it's about me doing. That's just an honest conversation that I had for myself. I have ideas in where I want to move this forward and etc. The first goal that I have is at least, hey, get 1,000 subscribers, um, be more structured in when you post a video, put more energy in that, write, and that will also help me out a great deal. If you have thoughts about suicide, if you are not feeling well, reach out to the people around you, reach out to maybe a therapist, work on yourself. If I can say one thing that has been the most eye-opening thing for me in these past years is the fact that I know that all the feelings that I have inside of me, if it's anxiety, if it's me being mad, if it's me being happy, I know that I'm the cause for that. It always is related, traceable somewhere back to. I have another video as well. It's not so much watched, but I think it gives you a bit of an idea what kind of structure I have to sort of see what is happening. And that's the video how to get your life under control with an Excel sheet. Please just go over my channel and see if there's something for you there. But I just wanted to make this video to finally really open up about this. Also show what I'm doing. I hope it can help people. And for now, I can really just say, hey, I'm happy that I made the decision to go to Malta. Yes, it means that I left some people behind in Berlin that I really loved and really like to spend time with. But for me at that moment, it was just not the time to be there. And I cannot be there for other people if I cannot even be there for myself. Very simple. Okay. Yeah, I hope you liked the video. Maybe you can take something away from it. Of course, I will continue making other videos, but here it is. Something that's really dear to me and something that has impressed me the most about myself. Oh well. Then there is nothing else to say than, yeah, big hug, much love, and then I see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.